So in 2008, I opened up my own salon, and in 2013, I believe, is when I moved to a bigger building with a uh, in search of expansion. So with that expansion, I had my salon on one side, and I was going to open up my beauty supply store on the other side. Of course. So during that whole process, I already had an established salon. Everybody there was very supportive of the progress, and they understood the vision. Now, please keep in mind that when you just first off, business is a risk. So with that mindset, I had to learn those things also. So it's not just an overnight type of situation, especially not in this field. But then that we had to begin to work on the model of the beauty supply store. Now, keep in mind, we didn't have to, but I felt like the best thing for us was that we did hire somebody to help us. That particular company had the blueprint because we didn't have the blueprint. So they had the information, they knew what to order, they knew how to lay it out, they came out. So the whole process of that, it was lengthy, and it took time, but in my opinion, it was worth it. In 2014, we finally did our grand opening. And so I believe that it was a great thing. I would probably describe how our supply store looked as more like a Sally's because it was more boutique size because it was also on the other side of the salon. It was look like two separate businesses. You didn't know from the outside that it was even connected to the salon except for the name. But other than that, we had a different blueprint and we had everything. So it was to capacity, so it wasn't like one of those empty ones. It was fully stocked with pack hair. We had the braiding hair. We had the other thing, except it really was challenging. Now, one of the things that I cannot stand about beauty supply stores for us is that I feel like we have to constantly have to shuck and jive to get people in. I think that we're a little bit harder on our businesses than we are on other people's businesses. And I believe that because they already kind of had a different standard in how they had things laid out, we became the underdogs. We just became the underdogs because they began to monopolize the whole system. So that in itself was just challenging for us. As a consumer, you guys did not understand the challenges and the uphill battle that we had to face opening up a beauty supply store for our own community. Again, even though we were fully stocked, we had everything you needed, it still face criticism, which that's business. That wasn't a big deal. Things like that don't bother me. But I believe that we have to do a lot more marketing. Like they could just set up shop and open up and that be that. We have to shuck and jive. We have to have grand openings, which of course we're gonna have. Yeah, then we have to walk around the building 7 times. We have to take territory over the thing. We have to pray. We got to get our pastors to pray over. We got to anoint it. We have to do so much more things to open up these types of businesses, and in hopes that they will succeed. But at the end of the day, it's just different for us. Not only do we have to face things with the vendors, but even just the mindset of the consumers sometimes can be a bit challenging, and it could be a little bit difficult. So just think of the business model when it comes to beauty supply stores and even like nail supply stores. You never really see them market. Really think about it, you don't see them market. Every blue moon you may see them do a couple of things, but bigger picture, you never see the market. We have to do the own marketing for our own businesses on a whole different level and a whole different scale in hopes that you guys will even come. They open for business. We open to build relationships within our community and to connect personally. We have to go above and beyond. I remember my dad used to say that for us, this is even just in life, that a black person has to go above and beyond anything in order to succeed. Triple that when it comes to business. I feel like we have to prove ourselves in places that was already ours. I had a young lady there. Now, mind you, I had a full salon, but then I also had a young lady there that worked for me that used to work at a beauty supply store prior to, and then eventually she was my assistant for a few years. Loved her. And when I opened up the supply store, she asked if she could work at the supply store. Well, the answer, of course, was yes, because she had been in that place for a couple of years, so she understood the business of that. So that was just an automatic yes. I want you to say that our beauty supply store went viral, and when I say viral, we were on the news, we was on TV One, we were on many different programs to help, with that, to say that we opened up a beauty supply store, right? A black-owned beauty supply store. It went viral on several different avenues in life, in media. We were not making any money. We were not making any money. It was not a profitable business. We just wasn't making any money. And that's the reality of it. And of course, you're supposed to give yourself X amount of years, but I will also say one of the biggest things that was a little bit heartbreaking also was that this is around the time, I don't remember who passed away at that time, but I do remember it was some type of outrage. Somebody got shot. So they were like, okay, let's show them in their pockets. We're going to boycott A, B, and C. So during that time when they did boycott them, they said for Black Friday they were only going to they were only going to support black-owned beauty supplies during that time. Well, we were one of them, and I will say that for that Black Friday of that year, which I believe was 2014, we made more in one day than we did during the week. How do I know this? Because the young lady that used to work in the beauty supply stores, she knew the numbers of beauty supply stores, and so she knew that about the type of money that they made. What we made that one day is what they usually make in a day anyway. What we made that one day is typically what we will make in that week. That's a disadvantage in itself. So I'm gonna stop it from here, and I want y'all to think about that. And that's why we have to be continually supporting these business and not just go for them in a reactive part of way, but we have to learn to go for them on a regular, consistent basis so that we can not only just support them, but we have to help them to thrive. We have to be more intentional about supporting these businesses.